Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. It's going to be a pretty quick episode this week. All right, cool. I'm glad you agree that that's a cool idea. So we're going to be running through the drafts that came out for Chapter 77. I believe it's called Bardock, the Father of Goku. Like what a fucking waste the last 45 days have been in terms of being a Dragon Ball fan. You guys want to run through these drafts? I fucking do a bunch, so I'm going to do it. But as I talked about last month, pretty much knew what was going to happen in this chapter, I think. It's going to be a heck of a lot of, hey, here's a flashback of this dude saving us, like Monaito was able to express to us in the last 2 or 3 panels of the last chapter. So, yeah, let me run down these drafts, though, before I fucking lose my patience on the official Dragon Ball website, dragon-ball-official.com. If you want that shit in English, put an EN dot in front of the dragon. And then, boom, English. Anyway, let's read this. Limited time sneak peek at Dragon Ball Super Chapter 77 storyboard, Wordbird. So the first panel they show us is just a bunch of Azarus going buck wild on a planet of, unsuspecting Namekians and Cerealians who until just a moment ago were cohabitating in complete peace. But, those pesky Saiyans. I wanted to go through the website instead of just like somebody's Twitter thread or whatever, just because they give, first of all, there's more panels released than what you would just see on Twitter. Like people are just kind of picking the most, a substantial 3 or 4 in terms of information to be able to tweet about. But there's a number of panels in here, and they have nice little paragraphs that kind of tie them together that some fucking dude on Twitter is not going to give you the same commentary unless they do a copy and paste, which I typically don't see because they're translating some Japanese shit to English, which can always be wordy. Anyway, Azaru's fucking things up. Fuck these Namekians and Cerealians. It says, we're revealing Toyotaro's storyboard for the opening of Dragon Ball Super's newest chapter in V-Jump for 1 week only. 1 week only. Like, we don't do this every goddamn month. Read on to get a sneak peek at Chapter 77, which is set to be published in V-Jump Supersized December edition on Thursday, October 21st in Japan. I don't get how, like, the edition months work, but the fact that the December edition is coming out in October just doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know. How does that work? Anyway, next panel, Vegeta looking pretty roughed up. Chapter 76, just as Vegeta and Granola's epic battle was about to reach its nail-biting conclusion, Granola's adoptive father, Monaito, I like that phrase. I think that phrase is what made me want to read this article. Granola's adoptive father, Monaito, made his dramatic entrance. He went on to proclaim that when Planet Cereal was under assault by the Frieza Force, it was none other than Goku's father, Bardock, who rescued Granola and Monaito both. The mysteries shrouding the attack on Planet Cereal will all be revealed in 77. Bardock, the Father of Goku. Check out its opening storyboard below. So that Vegeta thing I was talking about was from last month. All right, cool. So it's like I don't know, in the past, I guess. Looks like young Monaito, except young Monaito still looks very fucking old. I guess he's been an old Namekian for a long time, at least for the last 40 years. And he seems to be living in peace with like the Cerealians and some other Namekians, and they're like trading vegetables and shit. Cool. I'll look at this Cerealian. He's got a nice little water jug he's going to exchange for Monaito's misshapen carrot. That sounded much worse than I meant it. Monaito knows, or notices rather, the full moon upon their planet, and he's very confused by it. I imagine a full moon's not a very common thing on Planet Cereal at this point, but little does he know a bunch of giant apes who need this full moon to be able to fuck up their shit are about to embark on their planet. Oh, what do you know? Next panel. Boom, clash, blue, bat, bat, smash. Lots of explosions. Monaito running for his life. Me and Ozaru's crushing shit. Frieza Force dropping down other soldiers, it looks like. Actually, one of these soldiers doesn't necessarily look like he's Saiyan. Actually, this one looks like he's got horns. Huh, that's an interesting little pull. Let me see. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Huh. Yeah, 3 of these dudes definitely do not look Saiyan. So it's cool to see that the Frieza. Well, cool. Is it cool in this context? I'm not sure. It is interesting to see that the Frieza Force is like, the Saiyans are obviously the big enforcers for the Frieza Force at this point in time. Weird sentence. But it's cool to see that Frieza sends like his other minions to go along with the big wrecking crews that are the Saiyajins. Yep. What do you know? Giant monkeys fucking up some cities and stuff. And the rest of the Frieza scouts rounding shit up, it looks like. So, like we still have a few more panels to go through. But like I talked about last month, this I imagine will prove to be a prequel to what we know Bardock's story to be. When Bardock goes to Planet Frieza again for the last time and decides, you know what, fuck this, and decides to stage, or attempt to stage a rebellion against Frieza. It doesn't go super well for him, and he ends up paying the price with his life. This is the thing this is the mission or whatever that he was on before he went back and did that did that to Frieza like a few days later. I bet this is what this flashback will prove to be. I imagine it'll tie into the fact that there's a small child involved, and Bardock has a small child at home, his little boy Goku that he just wants the best for, but I don't know. That's what I imagine this will be, but I think it's interesting that in these panels, we're seeing that the Azarus are doing a bunch of the damage and fucking up cities, and people are running for their lives. And then you have these, a couple of panels where they're just Frieza Force soldiers just like standing around, like, gathering up people from the villages into like a circle, basically. That gives Bardock somebody to be able to stand up against on this planet that isn't specifically his Saiyan brothers, because I don't know if it's the crew that he rolls with in the Bardock story. Like I'm hard pressed to envision a situation where he's standing up to those guys to be like, yo, fuck you. I have a kid at home and I want to do better now all of a sudden today for no reason at all. Very poor writing. All right. I get that tying in Bardock is fun and fan service and all that, but this is just the fan service before the shitstorm. Mark my words. Anyway, they round up this group of Namekians and Ceruleans, I guess, all these Frieza Force soldiers, and it looks like they just fucking blow them up, dude. Like, kabam. Big old crater in the ground now where those people used to be. Monaito is, on the peripherals of this battle. Monaito's doing his best Vegeta, except opposite, by holding his right arm and staggering before Nozaru, like, I don't know, crushes a small group of people with a piece of a building. There is a pretty cool shot in here of one of the Ozaru Saiyans just like hanging off of the side of one of these major castle looking buildings, which is super dope. Super dope. What's the name of the show? Yo, I said it. That's the thing. So we don't necessarily see what happens to Monaito. And also it doesn't help that the panels are all in Japanese. Oh, actually, you know what, dude? I got a translation of this. I should have fucking pulled this up. I'm dumb. I imagine what I'm about to read is going to state this as well, but just for sake of what we're doing here, going through the panels, Monaito meets the last Namekian who made the Dragon Balls on his planet. And he's like, hey, dude, yeah, I'm about to die, so you're the god of this planet now. And I'm entrusting you with the Dragon Balls. Kind of like how One for All works, I guess, in this case. No other choice but to give it to this dude. So that way the Dragon Balls and the Namekian lineage continue to live on planet Cereal, something like that. But let's read the paragraphs afterwards, because the next panel is just a big old Saiyan stepping on buildings, hanging off the side of some fucking pointy buildings that look, I don't know, pretty regal. Like they would belong to a king or something. It says, the truth behind the horrific event that stained Granola's heart with the color of revenge awaits. Yo, read in the English translations of Japanese fucking sentences for their English websites is so goddamn funny. You'll be able to read the rest of the chapter in V-Jump Supersized December edition. Be sure to grab a copy when it hits shelves later this month. Cool. So I guess what that means is I didn't get a firm translation from this. I'm almost a little annoyed. I started off talking about this website so positively in the beginning. And we will just quickly, because I really want to get that translation for the Monaito thing. So let me just pull this up from some Dragon Ball Twitter guy that I'm not like comfortable endorsing, we'll say. Because sometimes he tweets some shitty things where I'm like, dude, stop being a fucking idiot, you know? Why are you tweeting this shit? Like fake movie posters, and people are like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is the new movie. And he's like, ha ha ha, you retweeted it, but I didn't mean it. Anyway, I entrust these Dragon Balls to you, Monaito. Is this last big, he's not like quite the size of like Grand Kami Super Guru or anything like that, but he is a very heavy set Namekian, we'll say. And he gives Monaito his little balls, little Dragon Balls. So I did toss it out there to our Instagram followers a couple of days ago, yesterday maybe. Any predictions for the chapter? I got a handful of answers back I'd wanted to read. Because again, quick episode this week. Next week, we're going to have a full in-depth chapter review for your dumbass. So let me grab these story reviews too. So, few answers here. So, hopefully Bardock's backstory doesn't change for him drastically. I don't know if that's a prediction so much as it's a comment, but I agree with that. That's from Oscar Vasquez, longtime fan of the show. He's been listening since pretty much day one. So, Oscar, hey buddy. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, let's not denigrate the character of Bardock any more than they already have. With things like the Bardock special, not the first Bardock special, but that second one where he like goes back in time and becomes the legendary Super Saiyan and fucks up Frieza's ancestor or whatever. Like, the fuck was that, man? I'm not really sure, but it sucked. I know that. And then Dragon Ball Minus, where it's not really a story, first of all. That's my thing with Dragon Ball Minus. It's not exactly a story about Bardock. It's just like the retelling of his last day or two on planet Vegeta, which we already saw. And it changed a couple of things, like giving him a wife in Guinea and making him a little bit more, soft-hearted and like, I don't know, like this fucking kids. Cool. Glad you liked your kids, dude. Didn't think I needed an extra fucking manga B-side chapter off the backside of a Jocko book to be able to see you like your kids. But this is the route they've continuously chosen to go. So much to the point that it was the first 20 minutes of the Broly movie. We are Bardock inundated. The way I feel about Bardock tying into this arc right now is the same way I felt when they were like, Broly's going to be in the 2018 movie. I'm like, dude, we've had so much Broly. Granted, not at that point, anytime in the recent memory, because Dragon Ball Z had been off for so long. But if there's anything we've had a decent chunk of in like modern Dragon Ball from like 2013, I think up, it's been Bardock. We didn't need Bardock to tie into this. I don't think. It's cool that he did, but it annoys me that this is going to be the chapter this month. It's just reliving this. And ultimately, it's not going to be a big impact. It's not going to have a huge impact on Goku. It's going to be like, he's going to be like something to the effect of like, you knew my dad? That's weird. Anyway, I'm a Saiyan from Earth. Like, my dad is Master Roshi or fucking somebody else. Like, he's going to be mostly unbothered by the fact that this dude knows Bardock. And it's more about, Granola needs to be able to forgive the Saiyans and giving him the excuse that they were rescued by Saiyans way back when is what's going to be his, the thing that'll hopefully help him realize that he needs to redeem himself by helping Goku and Vegeta against the real villains, against the Heaters, It could have been any fucking Saiyan in the world. It didn't have to be Bardock. Didn't have to be Bardock. That's for goddamn sure. But it is, because fan service before the shitstorm. Okay? That's how I feel about them ruining Bardock's. Anyway, that was one that was one Instagram story response that I just ripped up. So I'm with you, Oscar. I appreciate you, dude. And if you don't follow us on Instagram to give me this kind of fodder, you should, you piece of shit. At GB Super Dope. You fuck. Predicting that Bardock probably was talked to by one of the Namekians. That comes from our friend GB. Yeah, Bardock probably definitely talked to one of the Namekians. Maybe like Monaito, the one he rescued. Bet he talked to him. I don't know, man. I feel like Bardock's going to be put in a position to rescue somebody because he becomes disgusted with somebody else's behavior. Those people, to me, are not likely to be other Saiyans. They're likely to be the Frieza Force fucking rounding people up into a circle and blasting them to death. And he's like, that was not cool. That was inhumane, you want to say. And that's what makes him say, fuck these Frieza Force fucks. Fuck these Frieza Force fucks. That's a lot of F's. And I don't know, decide to hold out and rescue Monaito and Granola when he can. And I don't know, kind of skirt the observations of the other stupid Saiyan fucks. I don't know. Rayshawn says, invasion arc. Okay, what are we invading, dude? Because this thing that we're talking about was 40 years ago. Do you think they're going to like jump through a time portal and invade our current day and make me have to deal with Bardock even more than I've had to deal with that fuck over the last 8 years? Is that what you think? You guys are catching me on a really fun day. I've already recorded 4 podcasts today, not for Super Dope, obviously, but for a client. My voice kind of hurts. I went out and met up for a couple of beers with a friend of mine after that. And yeah, dude, I'm fucking tired. Yeah, these leaks came out late last night. And I wanted to do it this morning, but oh my God, 4 podcasts today already. Woof, dude. All right, I'll stop crying. David Cheers, all right, longtime supporter of the show. Dude gave enough of a shit to at least send me a DM. He says, I feel as if Granola is going to snap mentally. His whole life up until this point has been him hating the Saiyans and Frieza, and now he learns that his reason for living is thanks to a Saiyan. Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know if he'll like snap mentally over it, but I hope that he'll like question where he stands on his revenge plot. You know what I'm saying? Like I equated it to Inigo Montoya a couple of weeks ago. Like after Inigo Montoya kills the 6-fingered man, he's like, fuck, what do I do now? My life has no purpose. I imagine Granola would have that same thing happen if he were to just off Vegeta and Goku all at once in the last couple of chapters. He'd be like, fuck, what do I do now? Wait out the clock on my ultimate power to die, probably. But I imagine learning this information about being rescued by a Saiyan will make him realize that they're not these inherently evil creatures who do nothing but destroy, and that these Goku and Vegeta guys who he's been sparring with over the last couple of hours are not full of bluster and shit. Like they're speaking to him from like a genuine place of concern. Like, yeah, they're fucking martial artists and want to fucking beat this guy up if possible, but them talking about him putting his power to like a better purpose in the case of Vegeta, and Goku trying to convince him like, hey, dude, we do not work for Frieza. He's actually kind of a dick. Those things are, I feel like those things were already planted early on in the arc to have this Saiyan, we were rescued by a Saiyan revelation come in and be the final thing to sway him over to be like, you know what, maybe they're not so bad. And, you know, now I have to combine forces with them to be able to beat the Hitas and Gas or an Elec or whatever the final combination turns out to be. So me and David are very much on the same page with that. So that more or less does it for the drafts this week. I imagine we're going to get a couple of more things before the chapter drops on Wednesday. We'll be recording, me and GB will be recording with my friend Hayden. So Hayden does a podcast himself. It is called the Dokkan When podcast. And that's obviously for all you Dragon Ball Dokkan players. I guess they nerd the fuck out on Dokkan pretty hard over there. Me and GB were guests on his show a couple of weeks back. I believe the episode will be dropping in the next few days, but I'll post links and all that when it does drop. But it'll be me, GB, and Hayden breaking down chapter 77. Before we wrap it up, I did get a quick review in the last few weeks that I don't think I've read on the show. If I have read it on the show, no, I fucking haven't. Don't tell me I have. You're misremembering. Okay. It says, good podcast, 5 stars. From Chicago, Mike V. I just found this podcast and I have really enjoyed it. That's the whole review. It's not fucking simple, people. That's all you have to do. Like, I know at least 50% of you probably have iPhones. And I know what the numbers are. It's just really annoying that you just won't help me out, dude. Leave a review. Apple Podcasts. If you're on Spotify and you follow us there and listen to podcasts there, I get it. That's where I listen to podcasts too. But if I really like a podcast, I say, fuck it. I'm going to open up that trudge of an app called Apple Podcasts, that big purple fuck, and say, hey, search. I tap the search bar. Let me search. And then I have to remember how to spell. And I look up the person's podcast. And I give them 5 stars. Nice job. All right. Simple as that. Sometimes if I'm really trying to express my creativity, I'm like, this podcast means a lot because A, B, and C. Also, it's funny. Shit like that. 5 stars. Nice job. Nice job, 5 stars. You can't do that for me? Links are in the show notes if you want to go leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/DragonBallSuperDope. Join the Discord. We're going to get back to watch along soon. I swear to God. It's just Wednesdays seem to work better for other people in the community, and they're kind of a weird night for me to do things because I edit or try to go find a stage to fucking play on. So anyway, appreciate you. Leave a review, you fuck. You dirty fuck. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Chapter 77 next week. Subscribe to the podcast. Okay? Cool. Won't you please subscribe to my podcast? All right, listen, I never fucking nail finishing lines like that as well as I just did. Never mind the fact that I weaved in a call to action. Now you're obligated. Won't you please go in, review my fuck? I gotta go. Review the pod.